people think that, as a person with disability, I'd be more dependent. I might be dependent, but I'm only dependent because there are less policies right now.
You've been on the cover of Time magazine, BBC Change Makers. There's a Barbie doll that's been dedicated with you. But as you just spoke about, taking out that power within to make a difference, what has it been to take that power out? What is that power that you speak about?
Whenever I've traveled world over, I feel that issues are always human, that we as people with disabilities face. It's just how empowering your surrounding makes you, your education system makes you. That is the main game changer. At first I thought, I would be only able to empower people with disabilities. But then now when I speak with other people from different parts of the world, I understand that it's not just people with disabilities.
Good evening, guys. It is super to be back on Table Talk. Today's guest is Manasi Joshi. She is para badminton world #1. But the reason we're speaking with her today is not because of her journey on the court, but the disability rights ambassador that she is off the court. Her journey of inspiring people across the fields, across the world. In fact, she's been globally very busy attending keynote sessions and speeches, and I'm looking forward to speaking with her. In quick reminder that all of you to subscribe, just click on the bell icon so that you are alerted with all the new episodes.
Thanks so much for joining me and hope you've been well.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone who has taken out time and have joined today. I think Jyotsna, you have been always a supporter of sports, and since the time I have known you, you have always promoted sports and all the other topics, but sport is something you have never left, and you have taken great interest in understanding para sports too. And I really appreciate you, your colleagues who have been making sure that every athlete gets spoken about and written about in whichever way.
No, not at all. It's something I totally believe in. I think I only do things that I believe in, Manasi. But I'm glad that, even if we have a few people who listen into your story every time, I think it just makes a difference to your fight as much as, our society's fight. So to begin with, Manasi, asking you, giving a keynote speech, how's that been?
It was great. I was invited by Howard Kennedy School at the Women in Power conference, and I shared my experience of being an athlete in India as a person with disability, and just my experiences in the field of sports and how I have found my own power within myself to just navigate as a person with disability and in the field of sports. And it has been it's great to know that there are institutes and there are people world over looking at what you're doing in the background and appreciating your work and calling you to share your experiences with other people. I feel really honored that my story or my journey is being appreciated by people.
And that is also there's also the World Economic Forum, I think, where you've been chosen as a young global leader. And of course, Manasi, going back, you've been on the cover of Time magazine, BBC Change Makers. There's a Barbie doll that's been dedicated with you. But as you just spoke about, taking out that power within to make a difference, what has it been to take that power out? What is that power that you speak about?
Power and definition of power has changed over time. From self-acceptance to self-belief, using power of influence actually to bring about or talk about the issues everybody or we as people with disabilities are facing. So I think for me it has changed over time, the whole definition of power, and I think it's a journey to just learn the way I have understood different definitions of the whole word at different points of my journey till now in the last 10 years.
And how is this journey, do you think, has it been different for you not belonging to like a conventional sport, the sporting power that we traditionally fed and we talk about, and that gets more publicity. Has that journey been somewhat different, somewhat tougher, or do you think you've managed to make your own way?
I'll say definitely I have tried to make my own way, but this whole, like I can say it has been 10 years since I have become a person with disability, and it is empowering. People think that, as a person with disability, I'd be more dependent. I might be dependent, but I'm only dependent because there are less policies right now. I wish people say, oh, let us help people with disabilities or let us help sports person. I feel that there should be no word as such as help in general. If it should be my right. If I want to pursue sports, I should not be stopped by someone. I should not find it difficult to pursue anything that I like. And then I find support from people around me. I wish nobody has to, undergo this help kind of a thing. They should have their own right. Of course, we do have that in place, but then it's taking time. And thus, we always say that let us help people with disabilities or let us help sports person.
The awareness for disability rights in the country, have you found any change, say, in the last few years that, since you've been speaking about it?
I have been seeing some change, definitely, but I still feel the change is slow. And I think this is the pace at which people are progressing also in our country, with so many changes in the way politics is happening. I think disability always takes a backseat in general. I'll say that, the last census that happened in the year 2011, it said that we are only 2% of disabled people in the country. But We the 15, which is a new way of saying that, there are 15% of population of every country that is disabled. And if we say that, then there should be a huge change in policy requirement in our country. Currently, everything is, whatever is reserved for people with disability, it's just 3%, 4%. And if we go by the actual facts, we will be having almost 15% of population as disabled. Also, I'll say that, in India, in the last census, there were very few disabilities that were recognized. I think only 4. But right now, after rights to RPWD 2016, currently there are almost 22 disabilities that are recognized. And the number of people with disabilities is going to increase drastically in this census. And I want that, this new number be taken into consideration right now and have a change in policy in sports, in employment opportunities, in schooling, in pursuing a profession, and in just doing anything that anybody wishes to do, be it able or disabled.
Do you think there's a gap between how disability is looked at in India versus globally? You've been traveling so much and you've been speaking at so many conferences. What is your sense been?
There is huge gap, but it's always about implementation of policies that have taken place in I'll say a developed country and a developing country. In India, our rights are currently, our RPWD Act, it's currently the most empowering act for people with disabilities in our country. And it gives a lot of power in our hands. But I wish, we have more and more implementation where we have access to education, to news, to content, to just anything that a person wishes. And I also feel that, whenever I've traveled world over, I feel that issues are always human, that we as people with disabilities face. It's just how empowering your surrounding makes you, your education system makes you. that is the main game changer. But I think with new education policy 2020, I see a lot of change. I wish that policy gets implemented, and RPWD 2016, everything gets implemented at its highest of things. I think then we'll say that our country is also doing the best in empowering more and more people with disabilities.
No, I have to say that, it was a very different reaction to the Paralympics last time around versus in the previous years, the kind of exposure also that it got. But what does it take to align a sports person who is disabled, or to actually align a disabled person to take up sports?
I think Paralympics as a sport is giving a lot of people with disabilities a new avenue to pursue fitness. And in India, so many people, like this time we had 50 plus participation at the games. As a country of 1.4 billion people, and almost we can say 10%, let's not go to 15%, let us say 10% of population is disabled. Then we can have a huge number of people who can participate at Paralympic Games in future. Moreover, Paralympic Games comes with 529 plus, or almost 539 in this Paris 2024. These many medal events. So imagine the number of medals that anybody can win at Paralympic Games. So if the youth of our country, or anybody, I won't say youth, disability can happen to anybody at any age. And thus the grassroots development also of disability is completely different. It doesn't start through childhood. It starts through the time you attain a disability. I wish everybody gets a chance to pursue para sports and find the power of sports, that how it has helped me. I wish everybody gets to use or find out that power through sports.
No, it's wonderful how you've used it, not just as a sports person, but also your ability to go beyond sports to, as I've said, it's smashing boundaries, really, to speak about it at different forums and different fora. But are financial considerations coming into the picture as well for a lot of these people who then think about taking up a sport?
To pursue any sport, you require finances. And as people with disabilities, we require finances for our equipment and aids also to purchase these items. And as these items are not manufactured in India, we have to pay a price in US dollars or euros, and we earn in rupees. So it's extremely difficult for a person with disability to afford equipments and aids, and also put in same amount of money to pursue sport. And also, not all your public transport is disabled friendly. So always take either a shared taxi, cab, rickshaws. So the cost associated to training as a person with disability is quite high compared to any other athlete. Like currently there are so many new schemes announced, new training centers coming up, where people who are pursuing sports as disabled people, they get a chance to stay in the same complexes. Those, like in Madhya Pradesh recently, a new sports complex has been announced for para sports. In Gandhinagar, a construction of para sports related sports complex is already underway. And I think this is going to be a game changer for our country, where the youth, or I will say any sports person who wants to pursue sports, can just go to those centers and start training. The budget for sports definitely needs to increase. I really wish budget for para sports get increased. All my sports complexes in India gets revamped and become accessible to everyone. And every sports person get funded. And I also feel that, right now with the policies of CSR, many corporates have started funding para athletes. So if there is lack of government funding, people can approach corporates to help support their dreams. And to athletes, I'd like to say, just go and see whichever are public listed companies, just write to their CSR team and ask that please help us in pursuing this sport. If your sport is into Olympic and Paralympic discipline.
Have you ever felt like you wanted to go abroad and train for a little bit, and you couldn't?
I play a sport which is very popular in India, badminton. So I don't feel like I want to train abroad for skill enhancement and training. But of course, that cross country training definitely helps in understanding other players. But I'll only do that for understanding players. Skills of coaching and training in India are abundantly available. For that reason, I'd say that I won't go outside of the country. But of course, again, it may change in future. But yeah, I think for other sports person pursuing similar passion, I do feel that options gets limited, where funding is a huge concern.
When we spoke last, we were also speaking about how traveling was, there are issues that come up for during travel for a lot of people with disabilities. Have things eased up for you?
Yeah, they have. But it's always too intrusive. For me personally, I have to dress up for my travel. I just can't just go and wear anything. Even if I, wear jeans, they ask me to show that, where is my prosthesis. They want to see from where it starts. Maybe previously they would just take off our prosthetic limb and put it in the scanner. But then now they don't do that. Things have been quite easier in India after Sudha ma'am and multiple other people have spoken about.
I'm Sudha Chandran, an actress and dancer by profession, who has danced with an artificial limb and created history and made my country feel very proud of me. But every time that I go on my professional visits, each time I'm stopped at the airport, and when I request them at the security to the CISF officers that please do an ETD test for my artificial limb, they still want me to remove my artificial limb and show it to them. Is it humanly possible, Modi ji?
This time, while I was traveling to Boston, I had to face similar issues where I had to take off my limb and pass it through X-ray scanner. But of course, that was not in India. It was in Doha. So it's just that you just have to deal with it, dress up according to your travel and make it easier. I mean, this whole security checks are a hassle for anybody with disability.
And more power to you guys, to still keep smiling through the whole ordeal every single time, Manasi. When I speak with you or I speak with anybody else, there is acceptance, which is beautiful. And when you go abroad and you speak at all these forums, what is the kind of reception you get?
People come and ask me that how do you deal with it, or people are always appreciative of the kind of journey I've been through. People respect it, and people come and ask how to deal with it. I think everybody is going through something in their own lives, and they always love to know answers from somebody who has been through something. So at first I thought, I would be only able to empower people with disabilities. But then now when I speak with other people from different parts of the world, I understand that it's not just people with disabilities. You are empowering other people who might not go through similar adversity, but who are going through something similar in their own lives, which is also an adversity.
There are not very many sports, athletes, able-bodied or disabled, who speak up. Apart from when it's a bit like Bollywood, right, Manasi? They speak up only when their movies come. In the same way, it's with athletes. If it's a good result, they'll speak up, but not the whole year round. Unlike you, what is it that you hope to achieve by putting yourself out there?
My experience needs to be shared because there are multiple people who are going through same as a sports person, as disabled person, as a woman, in their workplace, in their school, in their college, in their homes. Everybody is dealing through something similar. And I think if I share my story, more and more people will relate to it and they'll feel like, we are not alone in this. Because few days back, there was this one young girl who came and told me that after you shared your story, I really felt that I am not alone. I also have somebody to look up to. And I felt so empowered by that. I didn't know that, by just telling that, we are fighting our own battle in our own different way would help someone. So, and issues are there, Jyotsna. And I think sports has given me a very limited window to put myself out here. I have a very short time to share the issues that we all are facing. I think when I speak up about my issues, it's just sharing what I feel and making people believe that it's possible.
I know you're saying it's a small window in terms of, a professional career, but I hope that I actually believe that this is not a small window. You've got a long window, irrespective of, how long that professional career goes. How do you tackle all your challenges?
What all challenges? Like I face multiple challenges, mindset, barriers in sports. In the field of sports, if I want to tackle any challenge, then I have to answer through my performance. I have to answer through my game and improving my skill set. So I think any challenge, I can't just sit and make a small tent there and sit, oh, what's happened? I have to go out and find a way to deal with it, learn a new skill, improve my anything, be it the field of sports or outside. So I think that helps a lot.
You've obviously had to work on your mental game as well, right?
So previously, when I was learning to navigate my disability, badminton was a hobby that I was pursuing. But now that badminton is something that I'm keeping on doing every day, now I'm finding my own different window to come out. So I find time to do some embroidery. I take time to read. I practice heartfulness and meditation techniques to just, be strong. But yeah, it's not easy.
I can totally understand. I think, you actually make it sound very easy. And we know that there's lots that goes on behind the scenes. But before I let you go, let me ask you a couple of really personal questions. I think there was a wedding in your family. Yeah. How did that go?
That went so well. Like we had planned. My sister got married recently, and we were planning since last year. And because of third wave and everything, the wedding kept on postponing. And we're very happy that everything went on well. I came back from one tournament in Spain, and then we had this lavish wedding in Mumbai. So very happy that we had a family get together in a function, and we welcomed my sister's husband and into our family. So we're very happy.
Next for you, what is it that you're looking forward to? I mean, I know you're training, I know you will have your tournaments, but I'm hoping to see you more on the world stage as well.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. But my focus is sports right now. And I think I'm extremely focused in my game and training. I'm working extremely hard in improving my skills on the field of court. Also, of course, I'm definitely learning multiple other things off court by interacting, networking. But then sport is something which I'm working extremely hard on. I want to use this platform to spread more awareness about amputation, about road safety, about how to navigate once you attain a disability. And I think being a part of World Economic Forum Young Global Leaders is going to give me a very different outlook to interact with people and understand how things are happening in other part of the world.
I think someday we need to speak about how people can actually navigate disability once they have, once they've unfortunately reached that stage. And I think you'd be a wonderful ambassador for that. All the very best to defending your various titles and your rankings. And it's fantastic to see you back as the world number one now.
Thank you so much, Jyotsna, and thank you everyone who took out time today and joined this session. Thank you. Keep on supporting.